You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy 2/22/2020 Tuesday. It is a day full of twos. And in this episode of Transits today, we're going to talk a little bit about the energy of the two, the numerology of the day, the spirituality behind the day, what's going on with the planets, and of course, a lot of people are talking about the USA's Pluto return. So I'll touch on that briefly, but if you're interested in the USA's Pluto return, come back, hang out with me at 11:11 a.m. because we are going to be walking through the history of the United States as told by Pluto, walking through the Pluto transits and looking at what was going on, what transformation was taking place during each Pluto transit. It's going to be really cool, I promise. So if you're a history buff, if you're someone who's interested in the correlation between astrology and history, this episode is definitely for you. But in this live stream right now, where you're watching, joining me live, we are going to talk about the astrology of the day, the energy of the day. The focus will be on today, whereas the Pluto return has been playing out over several years. It's not likely that we'll see some major breakdown today alone. It's possible, but it's not likely. Oh, Slack, a main communication channel for corporate America, is down this morning. Yeah, that could definitely be part of it. Another thing that's interesting, and I'll go into this a little bit when we talk about numerology, but today, even though there's all these twos in the date 2/22/2022, when you add it all up, it actually adds up to 12, which makes it a 3-day. And 3 holds the power of communication, networking, curiosity. So very interesting that a main communication channel is down. But yeah, you know, even if Slack doesn't implode today for the USA's Pluto return, not likely, right? Sometimes these events can show us what we rely on, right? We have all grown to rely on technology to communicate with each other. We're relying on technology right now. So that's something to think about, but really interesting. I don't use Slack, so I'm glad you brought that up. Thanks so much, Cassie. Good morning to you. And good morning to you, Claudia. Everybody's loving the blouse today. Thank you. Yes, lots of positive vibes today. The two energy is a really beautiful energy. And if you want to really do a deep dive into the two energy, go back and watch my video on 2/2/2022. I was actually in Maui live streaming, and at the end we did a little collective meditation. So you're welcome to check that out. I was definitely in a great energy when I recorded or streamed that live stream because I was in Maui. How can you not be? All right, so let's talk briefly about the energy of the two. So in numerology, 2 represents unity, partnerships, love. You can literally think of it as 2 energies coming together, merging, right? So 2 is a really beautiful energy to work with in itself. The number 2 represents partnerships, balance, harmony, union. It allows for more diplomacy. It has very feminine energy to it. It's also associated with heightened intuition and psychic sensitivity. So the moon is also in Scorpio, a very psychic, intuitive energy. Today is probably going to feel very intuitive. But what's interesting about today's date, 2/22/2022, is that we have a lot of 22s in the date as well, not just the single digit 2. And in numerology, 11, 22, and 33 are known as the master numbers. So we have 22 amplified by 3 in today's date, and 22 is known as the master builder. Really fitting for what's going on with the USA's Pluto return. All about structures crumbling, foundations being built. That's really the general theme of Pluto in Capricorn. So I just think it's really serendipitous that we have this potent 22 master builder energy on the actual date of the exact Pluto return for the United States of America. But as I mentioned, it's actually a 3-day. When you add up all those 2s, it adds up to 12, and we get 3. So a 3-day represents abundance, creativity. It can also represent the cycles of a life. Again, very serendipitous when we're talking about the USA Pluto return, this death and rebirth cycle that we've been going through over the past 250 years. So birth, life, death is one of those cycles. It can also represent a connection between the mind, body, and spirit, the mind, body, and soul, the 3 sort of components of what it means to be human. Communication, curiosity, all favored today. So the numerological energy is really beautiful today, and I know a lot of people will be using this to manifest, using it to meditate. If that's something you're interested in, it's a really beautiful energy to do that under. But I think what's so cool about today being a 3-day is that we're going to have millions of people around the globe using the 2/22/2022 energy to manifest, to meditate. So even if it doesn't feel like there's this massive shift happening in the world today or some major event happens, you have to remember that we're having millions of people literally take the act of just sitting down and being intentional and envisioning the future. This could create this environment of a collective consciousness shift. If everybody is leaning into the loving energy, if everybody is putting that energy out to the universe, that they're trying to attract a better, more beautiful life. So I think today is going to be a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day to manifest, and the 3-day is really representative of that collective, connective energy as well. So if you are meditating or if you are going to manifest today, I invite you to think about the millions of people around the world who are doing the same, because we're all one. We're all one consciousness, all working together. We are all energetically connected, something we're reminded of under the Scorpio moon. And like I said, if you're wanting to do a deeper dive into the USA Pluto return, come back, join me at 11:11 a.m. So now let's actually dive into the astrology of the day, what you're probably here for. And today's all about that Scorpio moon. So we don't have any major planetary connections that are exact today. We still have Venus conjunct Mars in the background, really amplifying that loving energy that we were just talking about, helping us all lean into love more easily, helping us tap into both our feminine and masculine energy, both individually and collectively. We also have Jupiter pulling away from a sextile to Uranus. You can see that here, Jupiter at 12 degrees in Pisces, and Uranus is at 11 degrees in Taurus. So this has been a transit kind of playing out over the past week, and it's really been helping us have a hope and excitement about the future. See positive change, see those silver linings. That's what's playing out in the background. We have Mars coming into a sextile with Neptune, Venus coming into a sextile with Neptune the next day. So we'll talk about those energies over the next couple days, but they're really supportive, supporting our dreams, supporting our imagination. This is a very loving, positive energy. Really, all of the transits playing out in the background are very positive, very loving. And then this week marks the last week that Pluto is making a trine to the North Node. It's been a very long, drawn-out transit. Pluto over here in Capricorn at 27 degrees and 33 minutes, exactly where Pluto was when the Declaration of Independence was approved. And you can see Pluto forming this loose trine now over here to the North Node in Taurus. That's just helping us lean into change, helping us understand, pull the lessons from any death and rebirth that's happening, any cycles that are ending, any new beginnings. It's a really positive, fortunate aspect when it comes to transformation and change. So all of the background transits are really supporting whatever positivity you're trying to call in today. They're supporting manifestation, they're supporting transformation, they're supporting change, and most of all, they're supporting the ability to lean into a loving energy. A lot of spiritualists, people say love is the only thing that's real. That's what a lot of spirituality is really based on, and all of the energy playing out for us in the background is reminding us of that. But today, let's talk about the exact transits that are playing out. The moon is still in Scorpio. It's a waning gibbous moon. You can see it on our chart here, currently at 17 degrees in Scorpio. So I would say if you are hoping to navigate the day individually, pay special attention to where Scorpio and Capricorn are in your birth chart. Capricorn, there's been a lot of activity over the past couple months. We have that conjunction between Venus and Mars, and the Pluto return is playing out in Capricorn. So although the Pluto return is not going to be an individualized transit, something that is going to affect us on an individual level necessarily, there is just a lot of activity in Capricorn, and it's worth taking a look at. So the moon is in Pluto. We are in the waning gibbous phase. This is tomorrow, is tomorrow Wednesday? Yes, Wednesday. Tomorrow is the last quarter moon, the peak releasing point in the moon cycle. So we're in a very much releasing energy right now, and the moon in Scorpio favors that energy. It really supports that energy as well. This is a time to cut energetic ties, release. A cord cutting meditation could be beautiful today. This is also a time where you could do shadow work, releasing limiting beliefs, especially if you're trying to manifest something and you want to use the magical energy of this day. A great place to start would actually be to go deep within under this Scorpio moon and ask yourself, what's holding me back? What is stopping this manifestation from coming to me? What am I not energetically putting out that I want to receive? If you look into the law of attraction, you attract what you are. So how are you showing up in the world? And is that supporting whatever you're trying to call in? Doing that shadow work, or at least acknowledging your shadows before you try to manifest, can actually, I feel like it almost wipes the slate clean before you do a meditation or a manifestation, when you're willing to acknowledge what has been holding you back. And even if you're not able to fully cut that cord, let it go, just simply having the desire of wanting to move forward, wanting to let it go, is sending a big signal out to the universe that you are ready to level up. So I'm partial to a Scorpio moon. I have a Scorpio moon, and I know it can bring up a lot of emotional intensity as well. So if your emotions have felt a little bit intense, that's probably why. But the beauty of the Scorpio moon is it's the alchemist. Any intense emotions are actually teachers showing us what we need to release, maybe what we're gripping onto or grasping too tightly. I've been trying to dive into Scorpio with this Pluto return. My Pluto is in Scorpio in my 10th house. So all of us millennials have Pluto in Scorpio. Yours being in your 10th house is very much about career, about long-term goals. You're kind of showing up as that millennial in your career in a lot of ways, which is beautiful. If you want to learn more about having Pluto in Scorpio, what's going to be really awesome about this episode of The Spiritual Journalist I'm going to do, it's going to be applicable a lot longer than just today. This is literally going to be a history of the US. But also, as we go through the different eras and the different Pluto transits, we're talking about different generations because Pluto is a generational placement. It takes 12 to 30 years to make it through one sign. So millennials all have Pluto in Scorpio. We're going to be talking about what was going on when Pluto was in Scorpio, how it shaped our generation, as well as generations prior. If you have, for example, Pluto in Sagittarius or Pluto in Libra, we're going to be talking about what that means and what era you were born into. It's going to be really fun. So not everyone has Pluto in Scorpio. Like your parents won't have Pluto in Scorpio, but anyone born between, I believe it's 84 and 95. Don't quote me on that because I don't have, actually, I can pull the dates up, but anyone born between the late 80s and 1995 has Pluto in Scorpio. Let's see, the exact years are, where are you? 83 to 95. So that millennial generation, right? We all have Pluto in Scorpio. The next generation has Pluto in Sagittarius. So yes, that's right. I'm doing the math in my head. So Pluto is very much a collective placement. Still a great time to look at where Scorpio lands in your chart, where your Pluto placement is, where Capricorn is in your chart. All of these energies are really potent right now, but Pluto in Scorpio is going to be more of a generational energy. Yours in your 10th house, though, is very much about showing up for your generation, showing up for the collective, your career being around these collective generational issues that we're all facing. And that is definitely true for you, Cassie. So, okay, getting off on tangents here, but let's go into what's happening with the Scorpio moon. First, 9 a.m., so literally right now, the moon is squaring off to Saturn. You can see that here. The moon in Scorpio, which is a fixed sign, is squaring off to Saturn in Aquarius over the next couple hours. Saturn's now at 18 degrees. So, in the next hour or two, we're really going to feel this energy the strongest. When the moon squares off to Saturn, it can actually be a depressor of our mood, a limiter of our mood. So you might feel sadness, loneliness, isolation as you're getting the morning started. I know a lot of people are coming into this live stream saying, yay, we're feeling great. And the nice thing is we have this beautiful backdrop of all the energies. I was just talking about the Venus conjunct Mars, Jupiter sextile Uranus, but also a lot of people are excited about today's date. So you might not actually be feeling the full effects of this square between the moon and Saturn. If you are, though, if you are feeling a little off, a little lonely, a little sad this morning, just know that this energy will pass by midday because at 1 p.m. Pacific time, the moon forms a sextile to Venus and Mars. And this is just a really supportive, loving energy. So you can see the moon here in Scorpio, 60 degrees away from that conjunction to Venus and Mars. This is really allowing us to energetically align with love. If we are willing to lean into a loving energy, because this is a sextile, a 60-degree angle, so it requires us to put in a little bit of work to gain the benefits of this aspect. If we're willing to lean into love, if we're willing to put it out there, if we are aligning with the energy of 2/22/2022 or manifesting today, we're going to receive it very easily. This is a potent moment for attraction. So midday today, pretty much between noon and 5 p.m. could be a really beautiful time to manifest, maybe 2:22 p.m., just a suggestion. So if that's something you want to do, I recently heard one of my friends talk about on Instagram how she feels like it's a little bit toxic to constantly be talking about this full moon is the time to manifest, this new moon is the time to manifest. And I totally agree. Honestly, it's a really great point. So I have started using the disclaimer, if you are called to manifest today, if you want to manifest today, there's no pressure. Even if you don't do anything on 2/22/2022, you're still in the energy. You're still gaining the collective benefits we're all experiencing. So the moon forms this supportive angle to Venus and Mars, 1 p.m. Any love we're putting out, we can easily call back. This is a very attractive energy. We can attract our desires easily. We have motivations to work towards our desires, to even just declare them, put them out there. And the moon in Scorpio helps everything come from a place of depth and a place of truth. And then by 4 p.m., the moon harmonizes with Neptune. This is a very intuitive energy. Neptune is the planet of dreams, of fantasy, of imagination. It tends to rule our subconscious. So as the moon harmonizes with Neptune, this is a moment to really, I see this as more of a receptive energy, 4 p.m. Pacific time. Maybe if you're not feeling like you know what you want to manifest, this could be a beautiful time to meditate and just see what comes through. Also, creativity is a great way to use this energy. Just if you are artistic or have any sort of creative passion, could be a great time to lean into that this afternoon, because when we're creative, sometimes it's those brilliant ideas or downloads or manifestations that come through. Creativity is a form of love in a lot of ways. So putting out that creative energy, you can call it back very easily today. I think creativity can also be a great way to work through any emotions that are coming up, any intensity that's coming up during the Scorpio moon. It can be a great way to release as well, as the moon is harmonizing with Neptune and Pisces. We're very emotional. We're very tapped into our emotions. So if we're trying to let go of something, cut the cord, say goodbye, close a chapter, creativity can be a really nice way to get those emotions out, maybe onto paper or into the energy around you, dancing, moving those emotions through you. And the last transit we have today is at 11 p.m. Pacific time. So most of us will be asleep by this time, but the moon in Scorpio forms a conjunction to the South Node. Here's what that looks like. The moon meets up with the South Node. You can see it down here. And the South Node represents our past lives, the lessons we've already learned. So this could look like a flashback of a past life, of a former version of yourself. This could look like falling back into old patterns late tonight. It could look like one last revival of something that has been really weighing on you, maybe your whole life, a pattern you've had that you need to break, that needs to come out. That could happen when the Scorpio moon forms a conjunction to the South Node. The Scorpio moon can be, I know I keep saying intense, but it's that Scorpion energy of like, it'll sit dormant, but if we're emotionally activated, it'll strike. So just kind of beware, your emotions could sneak up on you under the Scorpio moon. And you could, like I said, fall back into old patterns. But if we use this moment, 11 p.m. Pacific time overnight, we can also leave the past in the past, actually close that chapter, reflect on the power and the wisdom you've gained from whatever experience was playing out in your past. What has it taught you? We can easily extract the lessons as the moon forms a conjunction with the South Node. So we have kind of this, I said this yesterday, it was the opposite though, like this sandwich effect. We start and end the day with a little bit more intensity, a little bit more reflection, maybe more difficult emotions, but the middle of the day is bringing this really beautiful, loving, transcendent, connective energy that we can all use. Energy the last few days has been low and muddy. Choose love over fear. Absolutely. Love over fear. That is the key. And, anybody who needs a mantra for today, that's a beautiful mantra, especially when we're talking about the law of attraction, when we're talking about manifestation, when we're talking about collective consciousness on this 3-day. Think about what would happen if every single person on the planet, for even just 5 minutes, chose love. Just think about that. All of us are so caught up in fear so much of the time. We're so caught up in our own security, our own safety. But for just 5 minutes, if we were assured that every single person on the planet would choose love, think about the energetic shift that would make. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen today, but we can try our best, okay? We can all just do our part and at least move the needle a little bit. Yeah, emotion sneaking up on you under a Scorpio moon. I know that to be true because my emotions sneak up on me as someone who has a Scorpio moon. So be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself. And one of my gurus, my mentors, Kat, has taught me when those intense emotions do come up, almost like pull them out, observe them, look at them, ask, what are you trying to show me? What do I need to know? What am I not giving myself that I need right now? How can you reparent yourself, help yourself work through intense emotions? All things that could be very transformative today. Oh, Moon trine Neptune in your natal. So you're a very intuitive person, probably. Ooh, I love that. And this energy is going to feel right on point for you. So yeah, 4 p.m. Pacific time. If you're trying to manifest today, I would imagine it's going to be very easy for you, Czar. Love that. All right, let's do a little overview and then we will pull a card. So today is 2/22/2022, a powerful day carrying the energy of the 2. And in numerology, 2 represents partnerships, union, diplomacy, feminine energy. But actually, when you add up all the numbers in today's date, it adds up to 12, which makes it a 3 day. And the 3 energy is about connection. It's about curiosity, networking, having a conversation, communicating with other people. So if you can find a way to manifest for the collective or with the collective, manifest with a group of people, that is only going to supercharge whatever it is you're trying to call in. The moon is in Scorpio in its peak releasing phase, asking us to cut energetic ties, leave the past in the past, close a chapter. The moon squares off to Saturn to start the day, which can start us feeling off with some difficult emotions. But by midday, the moon forms this supportive angle to Venus and Mars, supercharging the energy of attraction. Whatever we're willing to put out, if we're willing to put out love, we're going to receive love easily. If we declare our desires to the universe, we can attract them back more easily. And that's only amplified when the moon harmonizes with Neptune at 4 p.m. Pacific time, heightening our intuition, heightening our imagination, allowing that creativity and that fantasy even to flow through. So we'll be really tapped into the magical energy of the day by this afternoon. We end the day with a conjunction between the moon and the south node, which can bring a final flashback even of a past version of ourselves, a past pattern, a past life. This is a time to observe what needs to be left in the past and pull the lesson from whatever that experience brought to you. So it's going to be a powerful day in a lot of ways. It's just a matter of the intention, deciding how you want to use the energy. And today's energy, it almost feels like, this is so random, but it almost feels like molding clay or like a ball of Play-Doh. Like you could do anything you want with the energy of today. It's very loving, it's very creative, it's very adaptive. And whatever you want in your life, you can have. That's what I want to remind you of. That's not even coming from astrology. That's just coming from me. Whatever you want in your life, you are worthy of. I talked about my live stream I did from Maui on 2/2/2022. Again, you can find that on my YouTube channel or on thespiritualjournalist.com. But at the end, we did a little collective manifestation, and it actually resonated with a lot of people. It was less than 5 minutes, maybe 2 minutes total. So if you're looking for a quick little exercise to do today, you don't have time or energy for a full-blown thing, go find that. In fact, I'll put it in the comments of this video if you're interested. And I believe there are chapters in the video, so you can easily just jump right to that meditation. All right, who's ready to pull a card? I'm going to pull from the Work Your Light deck today, one of my favorites by Rebecca Campbell. And we'll see what message needs to come through. All right. As always, this is your time to ask questions. Let me know how the energy is feeling for you. And let me know what's on tap for you today, how you plan to use this energy. Are you going to meditate? Are you going to manifest? Are you going to just spend time with loved ones? Maybe call an old friend, call someone you love, remind them how much they mean to you. That's actually a great idea if you are trying to manifest a loving relationship in your life. Pay attention to what loving relationships are already there, even if they're not romantic. Send some love to a friend. You're putting out to the universe, I am capable of sending out loving energy. I am ready to receive loving energy. Okay. Ooh. We pulled the Lemuria card. Creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Oh, I just got the chills. Creating heaven on earth. This feels very topical for the USA's Pluto return and everything that's been happening lately. There is this, rise of spirituality. There is this talk of new earth and what kind of earth we're building together, the future of the world. It's been a topic of conversation for a while, but the pandemic, everything that's happened has really created this boom in the spiritual movement. And words like Lemuria, I didn't even know, I think a year and a half ago. So, and I think that's true for a lot of people as well. Excuse me. So let's find out what message Spirit has for us today. Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Lemuria, or Mu, is one of Earth's lost lands where heaven really was a place on earth, a time before we were kicked out of the Garden of Eden. In Lemuria, life worked in harmony. All beings were seen as equal, and we were deeply reverent to Mother Earth. We knew that a mosquito was no worse than us, and the sun no better. Perhaps you too believe that heaven really can be a place on earth. Perhaps you are part of the transition team who at a soul level is devoted to creating this kind of harmony on the planet now. Thank you for wanting to do this work. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the state of affairs on the planet right now, but you are being encouraged to keep holding the clear vision of the future. It is closer than you think. You may be guided to hold the frequency of Lemuria in your own community, family, workplace, or just within yourself. Know that it is possible, and while at times it may feel like you are alone, you truly are not. There are hundreds of thousands who hold the codes of this ancient lost land, and even Lemuria crystals that hold the codes of remembering that are beginning to rise all over the planet. Keep doing what you're doing, and remember, the only way to heal the world around us is to heal ourselves first. The only way to heal the world around us is to first heal ourselves. Wow. I mean, so spot on for the transformation we're all undergoing individually, collectively. Also a reminder on this 3-day, when we're talking about connectivity, when we're talking about communication, when we're talking about collective energy, I think it's so powerful. If we were all just for 5 minutes holding the same vision of a peaceful earth, if we were all just for 5 minutes tapping into the pure energy of love, we would all be a little closer to heaven on earth. So if you're willing to do that today, even just do your little part, your energy creates a ripple effect across the globe. Don't forget how powerful you are just by yourself. Even if it's just you sitting in a room meditating, that energy can be felt all over the world. Trying to wake up at 2:22 a.m. That's okay, Claudia. You can try again at 2:22 p.m. It's actually going to be a really beautiful energy at that time if you are hoping to manifest. Creating heaven on earth gave me the chills. It's because it resonates, right? It's because you know that you're here to do the same. You're here to be part of this mission. You're showing up to this live stream today just because you want to understand or make sense of the energy happening all around us, just because you are open to receiving information. I'm a really big believer in whatever information I need to know at the moment is what will be presented to me. So you are guided to this live stream today to hear these words, to be reminded that heaven on earth is a possibility. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Again, if you are curious about the USA Pluto return, come back, join me in about 2 hours at 11:11 a.m. as we walk through the history of the United States as told by the Pluto transits. I was working all day. I went into hardcore Scorpio researcher mode and was like being mind blown constantly about all the alignments between the Pluto transits and what was going on in US history. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm like kind of patting myself on the back here, but I'm really excited just about everything I learned, and I'm really excited to share it with all of you. So I hope you will join me, and you can watch right here wherever you're watching now. I'll be back in 2 hours. I hope you have a beautiful 2022. I hope you have even just a moment to allow yourself to lean into the very loving energy of today, because even for just a moment, that will make a difference. That will help us move closer to a more peaceful, loving future, something a lot of people are thinking about today on the USA's Pluto return. So thank you for being here. I love you. I love you for showing up. I love you for being part of this community. It means so much to me, and I will see you right back here in a couple hours. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.